week's Matters of the Heart with Nilesh and Bev and me, Rachel. So this week we are exploring the topic of how these energies are taking us to the edge. So exciting. Really exciting stuff. That Nilesh is going to start off with.
You guys are gits. Do you know that? Oh yeah, just get me to start with it. All right. Yes. Okay. So over the last couple of weeks, everyone's feeling a little bit like they've been pulled about a bit, feeling a bit ragged. Basically, the eclipses, the full moons, all of that is definitely, pulling people about. So what it's actually doing is that it's clearing the vessel. So this vessel that you have, this spiritual vessel, this 3D vessel, it's being cleared, and it's being cleared on all levels. So everything in your 3D human life that you have not dealt with, that you've held, that's been very traumatic for you, or that you've buried, or you've just pushed to one side and you thought, you know what, I don't need to deal with it. It's all of a sudden coming back up. And you are actually quite surprised at yourself and thinking, oh my God, I haven't thought about this for like 10, 15, 20, 30 odd years. Why am I thinking about it now? I've dealt with this. Why am I dealing with this now? I don't have to deal with this. Well, yes, you do.
Layers, more layers.
Yeah, you're not dealt with it. That's why it's coming up, right? So it's about healing it, transmuting it. There are many videos out there how to do that. We don't have to teach you to do that, but we can. There are many videos to show you how to do that, to heal, to transmute, to even sit in that energy, which is one of the most hardest things, we can do, is like be able to sit in that painful, traumatic energy until you're comfortable with it, until you're exploring it, and then eventually it disappears because it no longer has that power and control over your life. It no longer is that thing, that rubber band that's holding you back from moving you forward, which you thought didn't exist but actually does exist. So we are feeling it. And the other thing is, I want people to understand that it takes us to the edge. Like it does, it takes you to the edge. And let me be very clear, no one is immune from this. I don't care how high vibe you are. I am high vibe, and it takes me to the edge.
Takes you.
I was just going to say the same. It really
definitely
doesn't matter how many years you've been on the planet, how many experiences you've had, how much work you've done on yourself, how together you feel that you've got this stuff now. There's always a little bit more. There's always a little bit more just hiding in the system somewhere. Because like Rachel said, it's like layers, layers upon layers upon layers. Quite often when I first started working with the angels, it was around the time that the movie Shrek came out, and when he actually says, ogres aliens, or whatever it is. No, they're layered, and that is something that they brought to me over and over and over again at certain parts of my early journey.
I think of that all the time with it.
Just take another layer off. Oh, it's this old chestnut coming round again. But even when you've had weeks and months of relative stability, you get one of these portal events, and we had two bangers, didn't we, last weekend? With a solar solstice and a solar eclipse that was not necessarily in our hemisphere, but it was affecting the collective, and wallop in those energies came. And it doesn't matter how good you are at surfing the wave, some of them get you, don't they? Some of them take you down.
That one got me.
And I think it's just always good, like you say, Nilesh, to bring yourself back into the middle. And remember that you are 3D as well as anything else that you might be. And that you've still got to honour being in the third density and having had third density experiences.
I think that's a really important point. I think in this modern age that we're living in, this spiritual age we're going through, there's this tendency to go, well, we just need to be all spiritual and everything will be okay. Well, I call like I'm calling that out. I'm
Yeah.
saying no. Yes, it's important for you to understand the spiritual aspect of your being, but you're still bloody 3D, right? We're not in 5D
Yep.
yet.
We
right?
signed up to be here in 3D, you
Yes.
know, and to do so, we have to be that vibration as well as who we are.
Yes,
End
you
of
still
story,
have
Jack and
a
Ori.
3D body. You still have a 3D body.
Yeah.
We're not in 5D yet. At 5D, you can choose whatever you like, but you're not there yet. So we're still in 3D. Therefore, honor your body.
Yeah.
So that's really important. I think sometimes you get so overwhelmed and so hooked into the spiritual aspect of life, you kind of forget that actually you're still 3D human. There's an element of you that's still that, and to honor that. And under that, you're going through a process, and that you are becoming more crystalline, and that's happening at a pace, but it's a slow pace. I think that's really important. And I think the other thing I want to raise is that you're not weak. You're not weak because you go to the edge. I am definitely not weak because I go to the edge. You know, it doesn't make you a weak person because
It's
you go to the
actually
edge.
the opposite.
Yeah. So explain that then, Bev, to the world.
I think when we get overwhelmed, it's because we've become vulnerable.
Yes.
We've become vulnerable to whatever experience we've been having, or whatever memory or patterning or emotional circuitry we've been trying to escape from. We become vulnerable to it. And vulnerability, rather than a weakness, is an actual strength, because
Why?
because otherwise you completely protect yourself and refuse to look out of a little small world view or a little utopian an outlook. You don't allow yourself to fully experience the pain or the emotion so that you can become free from it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to add to that. Vulnerability is actually power. Okay. And the reason it's power is because when you sit in vulnerability, you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable to all of the things around you, your experiences, and they actually have power and control over you. That's why it's making you feel vulnerable, because these things around you have had power and control over you for a long, long time. But when you actually sit with them and almost become accustomed to it and almost acknowledge it, you're allowing it to be. You're allowing it to be, rather than pushing it away, which is what we tend to do as human beings. If it's anything happy, clappy, and sparkly, we want to know about it. And we think, yeah, it's like, if it's joyful, it's like, I want it, I want more of it. Oh, that healing, I want it, bring it in. But if it's anything to do with pain, I don't want that. Let's put it away. Let's shut it out the door. Let's put it in a box, because I don't want to see that. I don't want to deal with that. And this is what we're talking about. When you sit in that level of vulnerability, what actually happens is that you're allowing it. And when you're allowing it, it loses its power over you. It loses its control over you. And therefore, you become free of it. It no longer controls you in that way. It no longer has power over you in that way. And therefore, you grow, you become stronger. So when people, sometimes we use words and we add negative connotations to it, like vulnerability. Vulnerability is not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing. But it depends upon you as an individual. How much courage do you have? How much bravery do you have to sit in it? How much have you got it? Because, you know, like previous to the current vibration you're in, you had the option. You had the option to ignore it. You know, you had the option to actually allow it and be in the vulnerability. Today, in today's vibration, you don't have a choice. It's in your face. And that's why you're feeling it. So what are you going to do? Are you going to stand in the corner and allow it to kind of batter you? Or are you going to like stand up and step into it and see where it takes you? And these are the choices you're having to make right now. This is why we're talking about this particular subject, that how these energies take us to the edge, because it does. It takes us all to the edge, all of us. There is no one that is excluded from that. And like Bev said, Doesn't matter how high vibe you think you are, how ascended you are. I'm telling you, man, you're feeling it. And if you're not feeling it, you're a liar. I'm calling you out. You're lying, man. Seriously. I'm high vibe. I'm not saying because I'm feeling it, the rest of the world is feeling it. But Jesus, I'm definitely feeling it. God damn it. And if I'm feeling it, then you have to feel it because I ain't doing it myself.
Oh dear.
I'll attest, he's been feeling it.
Oh, no,
I remember years ago, Archangel Michael, when he first started working with me, my God, he got his hands full working with me, I can tell you. And he was very honourable in that I would ask for protection all the time. You know, come on, Michael, wrap your blue cloak around me, get your blue light around me. You know, I was like putting my galoshes wellies on at Southwester.
Yeah.
Come on, Michael, come on. Because actually, I built up all of this fear or all of this need to protect myself from stuff that I was picking up and being just by being me, that I didn't have any control over or awareness of. So I was like buttoning the braces down and doing all of that. And one day, it was at a mind, body, spirit fair, and I was getting ready to actually give some Reiki treatments, sample treatments to people. And he said, you do realise, don't you, that I will always be here to protect you. But if you button yourself down so tightly, you will never be able to experience, and therefore you will never be able to grow. So please, can we just lift the barriers a little bit and broaden you out so that you can experience? That then put me into a state of vulnerability. Yeah, because I thought, oh my God,
I love it.
Oh my God, you know, there's all these people here, and I'm going to be energetically open, and what am I going to be sensing? What am I going to be picking up? What's going to happen? But of course,
you were vulnerable.
Everything went beautifully, as it should do, and I learned a great deal from the experiences that I had because I was allowing myself to be open in order to do so. And it does take some courage to do that when you've built up patterns all the way through your life.
Yeah.
In order to protect yourself because of the fact that you're a natural empath, a natural healer, you're a natural counsellor, whatever, you know, planetarian or nature lover, whatever your higher aspects have been bringing you to you as qualities in your early life tend to get misrepresented and misunderstood, and you get hammered for it, don't you? You know, emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's draining.
Do you think it's made you stronger?
Sorry?
Do you think it's made you stronger?
Absolutely. Hindsight's such a brilliant tool too, isn't it?
Yeah, same with the lottery numbers.
Oh,
I love hindsight.
You know, when you begin to use they call it the tool of reflection or the gift of reflection, my guides, you know, they said, don't forget the gift of reflection, to sit back and look from where you've come and see the progress that you're making and see the lessons that you're learning or the experiences that you're having. Totally. Because otherwise we don't recognize it, do we?
True. I agree. Very cheeky.
I'm just caught up on that moment that, oh, that's actually a gift. I kind of thought everybody did that.
No, they don't, Rach. They don't. Which is partly why we're kind of highlighting it today, because I think there is this misconception that actually it's me that's going through it and I'm weak and I'm not into my vibration and, you know, I'm not allowing and surrendering, and this is why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. I just think that is a load of, you know, horse poo. You know, the reality is that we're, you know, the ascension that has been planned for every single human on this planet has been planned for each and every one of you to experience. And in order for you to experience it, you have to go through the vibrations. Now, you have a choice. You're either going to go through the vibrations and go through the clearings so you can go to the next stage of the vibration, or you're not going to do it. And you have that free will. Father has given you free will to choose. And it's your choice. If you choose to do it, then you will continue with the vibration and have more experiences, which will be amazing as we go forward, even more phenomenal, things that you will see on this planet you have never seen throughout its history. Yes? Or
Yes.
you're going to go, I can't cope with this, I'm out. There's no judgment with those who choose that. I understand. It's not easy being here on planet Earth right now. And it's going to take...
You have to sit and be vulnerable.
Yeah. I also think it's going to take a tremendous amount of courage and a tremendous amount of determination and work. And, you know, it's not going to be plain sailing, but you never came here to have it easy. For those of you just going, oh, I'm here to experience 5D, I'll just sit back and have a cup of tea and relax and watch everyone else go through it like I'm not going to be affected. And you are being affected by it. That is the reality of your reality. So you are going to have to go through it, I'm afraid.
I think it's also, you know, a lot of people, a lot of awakened people, a lot of people who are spiritually aware, who have stepped on that journey in whichever format it comes in, the majority of them have a service to others contract, right? So they are here with a very deeply ingrained, if you like, service to others personality or energy.
Yes.
And it can, because they've then spent their whole existence looking after other people, or looking out for other people, or looking after the planet or whatever, it's really hard then to bring that energy into yourself and observe yourself and to be with yourself and to give to yourself before you give or do for anybody else. That's massive. You know?
I agree.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's massive. It's so challenging for so many people who are wonderful at being there for other people, yet they can't be there or be with themselves. They find that excruciatingly uncomfortable.
Yeah, because what's been happened, you can frame this in so many different ways. You can put it down to programming, your belief system. You can put it down to your conditioning. Okay, I mean those are very 3D human concepts. But actually, the concept that I want you to consider is the fact that it just was part of your soul. It's part of who you are, and actually, what you're doing now is you're changing that. You're adapting. You're adapting to the new vibration. So what you were asked to do before, we've all been through these cycles. I mean, Bev, you know as well as I do. And same with you, Rach, where we went through a phase where we went through the savior complex. Do you remember that? Because I remember specifically going through it. Now, people turn around and say, well, that's an ego thing. Well, whatever, I don't care what you think. It's not about an ego thing. Actually, what it's about is that particular vibration of trying to save people was needed. It was needed. It was a process. It was a stepping stone. And so we've been through that vibration, and we know that vibration finished almost 10, 15 years ago. And then the vibration had changed. It became more about, teaching humanity to take responsibility of their own sovereignty, of their own problems, rather than us going in trying to save them, which there are still many people on the planet doing. That vibration changed. It became, no, you are capable of sorting this out. All of the answers you want are either around you with people who are amazingly knowledgeable of how to help you with it, providing you take a little bit of moment to sit and listen, or it's within you. And either way, you're going to get perfect information. And so this is kind of where we're at. You are adapting. Your soul is adapting. And it's adapting to the vibration, because this is what the vibration is demanding of you right now. It's demanding for you to change. And the reason it's asking for that is because as we go forward, there's going to be some more changes. And you cannot go to the next stage of change unless you do this one first. Do you see? It's a stepping stone. You can't jump the steps. You can't do that. You can't jump the lessons. They're not lessons, they're remembering. So you can't jump those.
And some people get stuck on them, don't they? You know, because of because of comfort, familiarity, because of that,
comfort.
that beautiful status quo.
Yes.
You know, no, I love my stepping stone. I love being this aspect of me. You know,
yes,
this
that's
is
right.
what feels great. So I'm not going to go and jump on that one because it might be wobbly.
Yeah.
You know,
I like my slippers. I like my pop. The fire's going. I've got a nice cup of tea. What, you want me to just let all that go and jump?
Yeah,
I think so,
extremely challenging to actually then step out of that. And that's going back to your vulnerability again, isn't it? You know, to step out of that and take a chance on the next step up that you do not feel comfortable in. They keep bringing me sort of like working in a big organization, a massive but beautiful organization where you start in the post room, you know, and you work your way up through all of these different job titles or roles and responsibilities. And sometimes you need to be stretched into some of those because you have potential for them. Because you're not used to it, you don't think you have, you know.
I think that's a perfect statement to make. I think that's perfect, Bev. I think when you say, you know, people being stretched into it, they are. You're being, you know, the thing is, you have this belief system where you can't do it. That's the belief system. I can't do this, or I've never done it, therefore I don't know what I'm doing, so I feel lost. Actually, you're not lost. You've never been lost. It's all, the answers are always there. If you have difficulty finding the answers from here, you have many beings around you can relate to and ask for advice and ask for guidance, and they will guide you. But you know, if you take the little bit of time to ask, you know, yourself, you will find the guidance yourself. And you're all so adaptable and flexible doing this. You know, this is not difficult. I know it feels difficult because in some ways it is at the moment with everything that we're going through, you know, the vibrations, and still trying to manage our 3D like jobs and our families and friends, and you know, friends that are waking up, friends that are not waking up, you know, and you're having to manage all of that. Politics, world changes going on here. Not quite sure if the social structures and the systems we've got in place are going to continue. Are they going to change? There's so much happening at the moment, and I do think it's very difficult sometimes to grasp all of this and change and go with the flow. And we get that, and this is what kind of takes us to the edge. You know, this is a kind of like what takes us to that line. You know, and so it's about,
because we're having to face it all at once.
Yeah,
we're getting it all right now. And
but
so,
can we do it?
to the end. Oh,
can we do it? Why?
Yes.
How? Tell me. How can we do it? Yeah.
We need to trust ourselves. We need to look within. We need to jump from that little nest and fly. And
do you think maybe also believe in the fact that you are so extraordinary, you're so magnificent, you're so amazing, you have created worlds, planets, universes.
On a journey of remembering.
Yeah.
We are
remembering.
Simply needing to remember who we are, what we can achieve, what we have already become skilled at. You know?
Yes.
Because these things then are not as intimidating.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't truly believe it, it's a bit like these manifestations and things. If you literally, well, I've already mastered this, so I'm going to go and give it my full attention, you know. I think that can be a very helpful tool. You know, I've done this before, I've just forgotten about it. I know I've got this, let me go in and have a go, because otherwise we can be like rabbits trapped in headlights. There's too much to deal with. I can't cope, you know? And if
vibration,
fails, bring it straight back to yourself.
This vibration is testing your metal. That's all it's doing. And the reality is, you've been through this test a number of times before. You're just remembering how to do it, you know, and you'll do it. You're magnificent. You guys are doing it. You're doing it. You know, we're all doing it. We're all going through the process of clearing the bloody vessel. You know, there's stuff that I used to love to eat, which I can't eat anymore, which I'm not very happy about, you know. Jesus. What's all that about? What,
The
I can't eat bread
chocolate's still good, right?
What, I just can't eat bread? I love bread. I love toast. I love jam on toast. Why can't I have jam on toast? I love it. You know, it's things like that. And you know, you've been told that some of this stuff is not very good for you, and it's not. It's never really been good for you, full stop. But the vibration is so high now that it's having difficulty staying, you know, in your body. And I'm afraid, and you're being guided towards more high vibrational foods, and your diet will be changing. And you know, it's interesting, as your diet changes, your vibration changes, you know, and as your vibration changes, you become more in sync and in flow with the vibration of the planet, or vibration of Gaia. Was what's going on. That's what's happening. You're matching the vibration, so you're ready for the next one when it comes. And believe you me, you want to be ready. Because the next one's going to be a little bit more jarring than this one, for sure. So do the work. I've warned you. Do the work.
We also have to.
I'm doing it.
I think we also have to bear in mind a little note for those people who are really empathic, or who are working quite densely within 3D environments, where they may be perfectly aware of their own energies per se, in their own little practices, but actually they're becoming more and more sensitive to their environments, to the workplace, to the environments that they live in, as in geographical environments.
Yeah.
There's a, you know, the skills you had, the empathy you had, the natural connections that you've always had have become more and more fine in vibration, and therefore stronger, if you like, in impact, because you're spreading, your energy is spreading further afield, and you're able to gather in data from a much wider energetic circle around you, including all of the global unrest and all of that. And I think a lot of people need to remember to modify their personal practices and to improve them if they feel that their grounding isn't significant enough now, or that type of thing. I've had a lot of people who, well, I've always grounded this way, I've always done this, I've always, I do this, whatever. And literally only when they work with people, or only when they're giving readings, or only when they're doing treatments. And so no, 24/7, you know, from the minute you wake up, make sure that you are energetically prepared and protected, so that you can be aware of what's going on around you and can deal with it in a more appropriate way. Because a lot of people have got a little bit caught out with that and have started wearing other people's stuff. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, what you're talking about, Bev, is your senses are being heightened.
Absolutely.
And that's what's happening, and you're becoming more sensitive. So every time when you walk out, everything seems different, seems more brighter, the colors seem more brighter, you're able to sense more as well. It's like, instead of being blocked off to that, you can sense like almost your whole neighborhood and see what's going on. Someone walking down the street, you can sense what they're feeling, what's going on. All of your senses are being heightened as a result. I totally agree. I think the practices that we were using before don't work anymore. They're not doing it anymore. So change. You can't expect to get the same results by doing the same thing.
A lot of people don't realise that, though, Nilesh. You know, because they're using tried and tested techniques that they learned 15 years ago, and they've been okay with them for a decade or more. You know, they think, well, I do this and I do that. Well, no, actually, these energies are shifting so fast, and these portals of high frequencies are coming in so regularly now.
Yeah.
You have
Do you know what? Do you know what I do, right? Which I think is like quite surrendering and allowing is, you know, YouTube. So I'll say to my guys, we usually, that's Father and Meti and probably Yeshua and whoever wants to come in. I'll say to them, like, the first 3 videos on YouTube, because I have a wide range of like people I've subscribed to. The first 3 videos on YouTube is the ones that I need. I want you to send me the first 3 videos you think I need for today. Yeah. And each time it's different. Each time they'll send me something. And sometimes it'll be really random. It'll be like, you know, sometimes it's just about 2 people talking. And I'm thinking, well, how the hell, you know, again, spiritually, we're so locked in, aren't we? It's like, well, if it isn't meditation and if it isn't yoga or if it isn't watching a YouTube video about some spiritual content, then I'm not expanding. Well, no, that's not how that works. Expansion is done in many different ways. And sometimes, you know, I'm watching a video about 2 people talking. It's got nothing to do with spirituality, but there's a message in there that's for me. There's a message in there that I need to hear.
I do.
So I think,
similar.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like what you're doing almost is surrendering, you know, allowing for you to get the perfect message that you need to hear for that particular day or for that particular week, whatever it might be, you know, and try it. Give it a go. You got nothing to lose by, you know, giving it a shot. And your guides like love you, you know, unconditionally. They love you. They want nothing but the best for you, 100%. So, you know, kind of give into that. Oh, I think we lost Rachel. Bless her. She did say she had bad internet connection today, didn't she?
That's all right.
So,
I do something similar actually, and quite often now. I've got the hint, but they do actually occasionally just bring me up like art, creativity type things. You know, I was into looking at people do liquid pours and things like that of acrylic paints and things and making things, and every now and again I'll just get a dot of those and it'll be right, okay then I need to tap into creativity today, you know, just go and have a play date with a colouring book or something, you know. You know, you just have to follow your gut as to what that message might mean, but that's what I know that they bring me there.
Totally. I totally agree. Yes, totally. I think you just got to follow. Hello, we got you back again then.
Back. Yes. Apparently they cut the Wi-Fi line. I mean the internet line again.
Oh.
We knew that was going to happen. You said they were messing around with it today, didn't they?
They're messing around with it. So we'll see how long cellular lasts, because we're having trouble with that today too. So it'll be hit.
Interesting.
But it's held out longer than I thought, so we're good.
That's good.
Sorry about the disruption.
So yeah, do you think we've covered everything on that? Is that how deep you want to go? Do you want to go a bit deeper? You know, feel like sometimes it takes you too much to the edge and you feel like you don't want to be here?
I don't think I've ever got quite that far, but sometimes it does induce a throw rattle out the pram, as they call it round here. You throw your rattle out the pram, like, right, that's it, I've had enough, I am not playing this game anymore. Life, go do one. I'm just going to go and lay in the bath, or I'm going to go and sit and eat carrots, or go and play on a video game, or whatever, you know. You just think, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. I felt that many times. I've felt that many times over the years, but I kind of feel like, you know, people around us at the moment, especially if you're a high vibrational being already, you are catalyzing those around you. And sometimes the people that you catalyze are really close to you. You know, the people that you love or the people that you care about. And because you've catalyzed them, they can say some pretty mean stuff to you. I mean, really awful, mean stuff. And not only say mean stuff, but do mean stuff as well. I'm seeing this right now with people I'm around. Some of the angelics that I'm around now, really some mean stuff happening with them. And I understand that we're all being catalyzed in this way. We're all going through this, you know, process of like, you know, this cycle that I see, you know, that we're going through, that in regards to clearing the vessel and these traumas, and they keep coming up. And the vibrations like bringing it up, and so you're going to have to deal with it. And I'm seeing that a lot, you know, and it's hurtful, you know, because sometimes you think in your life you kind of feel like, well, if I've got my spiritual family, or if I've got my wife, husband, my child, you know, my dog, my whatever, you know, then I'm okay. Life is okay with the world. And when you realize that actually, you know, if it happens to those people, which generally it tends to, then and it's not so great, and you don't have that security anymore, you know, it's almost like changes the foundation of your world, doesn't it? Changes the foundation of your being, where you are.
It makes you feel vulnerable, and we have to remember during those times that we need to let them be on the edge too, that it's not just us that are going through being on the edge. I mean, my growth triggers other people's growth, which isn't always a pretty process, you know, and it can get painful, and it can get hard and hurtful, and you want to revert back to, oh, I'll save this, you know, but you can't if you want your growth and their growth, you know, and that's a big part of sitting with these energies while we're on the edge.
Good point, Rach. Very good point.
Is we're gonna have to watch it, and we're gonna have to be okay with letting them have their process too.
Yes, and you're right.
We can help them, we can assist them, but it's them who's gotta jump. You know. Yeah. I agree with that. I think the other bit to add to that is, because you love them, you won't want to take away that experience, because you know that as they're being catalyzed, that's going to like make them grow. No.
And you wouldn't want to take that away from them, because if you love them, you want them to grow, you want them to come into their vibration and come into their knowing and be sovereign, you know. And if that means that you catalyze them, or they're being catalyzed, and it's not a very nice situation to be in, you know, you feels uncomfortable and you feel vulnerable, and you feel like you're not even sure if this relationship, or, you know, whichever it is, mother, father, son, you know, husband, wife, whatever, will last. It's a great place to be, because, you know, you grow through that. Both of you grow through that. It's a beautiful thing to have with one another, for sure. Except when you're a singleton like me, and then it's like you got to deal with it yourself. To a certain degree.
You know, both sides. I've spent a lot of time looking at this one, and I think both sides have their perks.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, but that's definitely another issue to cover another day.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I think you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from those around you. And I think, Rach is right. You know, just be mindful of the fact that you might be going through it, and that can be a very, you know, very self-centered way to see it, although very many empathics aren't. But understand that obviously there are others going through the same thing, and that's okay too. And it's difficult, isn't it? You know, it's like usually that is not how the dynamics usually work in a relationship, do they? There's always one person that's kind of, you know, pretty strong and pretty much stable and it's pretty cool, and the other person's going through some difficult times. So the one that's doing okay supports the other one, and it's all cool until that person gets over their crisis. And then sometimes it flips, doesn't it? It's like, well, the other person goes through a difficult time, and that's when you get support from, you know, the other partner. And sometimes with empaths, never quite the same, is it? You know, we're always a little bit more stronger, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? We always tend to give better care, don't we? Better love, don't we? You know, better attention, you know, than sometimes what we get back. Yeah. And I know many of you can relate to that, right? So yeah, but still, because we are so lovely, and because we are so caring and kind and loving and open-hearted, anything we get back feels good and feels like, you know, we're grateful for, and we feel supported. It only takes a very little amount for us to feel appreciated, to feel loved, to feel like we're getting what we need. We don't need a lot, do we, in that way? Yeah,
and I think
just a wee bit.
We got to remember also, because this has been happening to me, that we're not free from the influences of these energies, even when we sleep. You know, dream times have been wappy, absolutely weird. But I've been dealing with, I must have been dealing with all sorts of things in my dreams, but they're like things from my adolescence, and then I'm in my mid-20s, and there's somebody else coming in. It's like a character jumble of different timelines of things. And they're all in the same landscape, you know, they're all in the same.
No, very little, like a dandelion being.
I just think, what? Why was that? Why were they there?
Like,
well, I just love it anyway, and I'll let you go. Whatever we've been dealing with here, you know, just. Well, wow.
I agree. I woke up this morning feeling really battered. Like I felt like just before I went to bed, I was like, right, Father, let's get on with it. I know you got stuff for me to do. So I went to sleep, and I woke up this morning like really feeling battered. I felt like I felt like I've been through a bloody war or something. I felt like I've been physically fighting.
Done, and there's been a bit of warmongering up there, hasn't there? The angelics have been.
I know. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure I was there doing that. But what I do know that it was I woke up this morning feeling really, really, really tired, really not so good, you know. And so I think many of you will be feeling that, you know. Not only are we dealing with the 3D stuff, but we're also dealing with stuff that's, you know, happening, you know, astrally as well. And the combination of those is a lot, you know. It's like you kind of feel like you sleep to rest, but actually you're not really resting because there is so much going on, you know. And you came for this, you know. You can cope with this, you can deal with this. There's just sometimes, you know, when you wake up and you're feeling a bit battered, it's like, oh, okay, well, I must have been obviously doing stuff out there. I woke up this morning feeling a bit like, I want to go back to bed, but I can't because I've got a 3D job to go to, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of crazy. So yes.
Rachel, we lost you again for a minute, darling. Did you have something to say in there?
No, your connection is really bad.
Oh, bless her.
That's fine.
Well, I think we've covered quite a lot, haven't we?
We have. Yeah. So in that case, we're going to end it on that.
Yes. Let's end it on that, and we'll give our love to Rachel.
Yes. Connection will be better next week. She's just having her internet sorted out this week. So thank you for everyone for coming and joining and listening to this video and being a part of it. And we will see you next week.
Yay!